Hey, Engaged South KC family, just wanted to let you know that we are still looking for people to join our team to run the World Vision 6K on May 21st. We're running, walking, pushing strollers, doing whatever to raise money for people that don't have access to clean water. $50, every $50 raised gets access to clean water for someone that did not have it before, and that's a pretty cool thing. So if you want to join our team, you can talk to me directly. You can send us an email. Just use the contact link on our website, and that comes directly to Pastor Lexi and myself. Or you can look on our website for more information, and you can find our team page there, and that's where you go to join and start raising money for this very, very great cause, this very cool cause. We have a goal of $1,000. I hope we exceed that, but even if we just hit $1,000, and I say just, but when you think of the lives touched, that's 20 people that will have water, clean water for life, and all the things that happens after someone receives clean water. 20 people's lives will be changed because of what we've done together. So please, if you've been on the fence, it's time to join our team. Again, contact me directly or look on our website for more information. We hope to have you. Thank you very much.
Darkness seems to have had its day, but my God was dreaming. The sun will surely show its light through it all, give all things meaning. Underneath it all was love, set the human heart afire. Oh, and when it all was said and done, you know that it was all worthwhile. Morning sun, this morning dew, the shades of gray turn bright sky blue. Sing a song to wake the earth from rest. And underneath it all was love, set the human heart on fire. Oh, and when it all was said and done, you know that it was all worthwhile. The sun, the stars, and the moon. Another day,
if you've been able to join us the past few weeks, then you know we've been exploring together the question, what does it mean to be free? And our hope through prayer, word, and encouragement that all people may be free. And as a movement, we've been spending time in prayer and engaging in conversation for those who are in the midst of human trafficking. We've been taking time to pray over those things that cause division in our world, in our city, in our own lives. And we've been praying and discerning how we can be helping others become free as a movement. And when I first met with Jason and Lexi about this series, I was instantly excited, but I was also a little bit intimidated because I feel like freedom is kind of a big word. And I feel like that word and the meaning of free and freedom can easily be downplayed in our everyday lives. For those of you who don't know me, I am a district manager for 3 tropical smoothies in the area, and I work with a lot of high school students throughout my day. And it's always super funny to me to see how their energy kind of shifts towards the end of their shift. So as soon as the clock strikes their clock out time, they instantly run up to me and they're like, Rachel, can I go? Can I leave now? And a common response I say to them is, yes, be free, my friend. Or I can usually tell if they're struggling throughout the shift and I can tell their energy's low. I might come up to them and say, just think, in an hour you'll be free and you can do whatever you want. And so when I sat down to write my message, I realized, as I was talking to Lexi and Jason, that I was struck by how powerful it is when we truly feel free. And then my next thought was, but how often do I actually feel free in my life? And how often do I hear others talk about how they feel free? And I think when we hear the word freedom, I think we can go to 2 different places. So we can go to the physical bondage and situations that we actually need to be freed from. And then there's this whole emotional and spiritual bondage that also requires us to seek freedom. And as I mentioned at the beginning of my message, one of the topics our engaged family has been talking about is human trafficking. And because of that, I've spent the past few weeks kind of spending time reading testimonies, watching videos, and just kind of trying to hear from testimonies of victims who have been in human trafficking. And one of the days I watched multiple videos. I went to a coffee shop, sat down, and for about an hour, I was watching videos of women. And about an hour in, I just felt overwhelmed with emotion because these women's stories were so powerful. And I think with topics like human trafficking and even violence, when we hear about what's going on in Ukraine and slavery, and when we hear about all these things, it's hard for us to relate to those things because a lot of us haven't actually had to go through that, or we haven't lived it. And we can try to empathize and we can try to understand and grasp the reality of the situations, but honestly, from a third party looking in, it can kind of leave us feeling defeated because we feel helpless. And as I was watching these videos and reading these women's stories, I was asking God, what do you want to teach me through these women's stories? And one woman's testimony really stood out to me. And she said, the journey doesn't end once you're physically free, but the reality is that your journey is just beginning. And which I think this is a part we can kind of forget. When we hear stories, I think about in class when I was younger, we learned with Underground Railroad, and we're talking about people who are being set free from slavery. And even nowadays, when we talk about human trafficking, I think it's easy for us to be like, oh, they've been removed from those situations and now they're free. All is well. But really, there's a whole nother journey that takes place when you get removed from a situation like that. And I thought about that recently as I actually went to a production called The Underground. And it's a ballet that takes place Kansas City. Jillian, Jason's wife, was actually part of it. And it's this beautiful production following a journey of this couple trying to escape slavery. And it's so powerful because you see this couple going through, meeting all these people, and they're helping them escape. And you get to this final scene when they truly hit freedom. And it brought me to tears because there's so much emotion in that scene. But there was a part of me in that scene that just thought, now what? Because it almost unsettled me, the fact that I couldn't see the rest of their journey. That's all I got to see. And I think this is the part that we can all relate to. While our circumstances look different, and while each of our stories are different, we've all had to go through the same process of healing and seeking freedom even after we've been removed from what is keeping us in bondage. And as humans, we know what it feels like to be in bondage. Whether it's past, present, we know the pain of bondage and brokenness. Maybe it was or you are currently in an abusive relationship. Maybe you have or you are struggling with an eating disorder. Maybe you're really wrestling with anxiety. I don't know, maybe you've struggled with a porn addiction or you're currently struggling with porn addiction. Whatever it is, we all have experienced things in our lives that we wish to be freed from. And we know the journey to freedom doesn't end once we've been removed from those situations. In fact, I think sometimes the hardest part is once we are removed from that situation. Because the reality is when we live in bondage for so long, whether it's healthy or not, that is now our new norm. And we have to go through the process of reprogramming our minds, how we view other things, and how we view the things around us. And when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about how many times I've heard people say, man, that person has a lot of baggage. And maybe that's something that you said about someone. Maybe someone said that about you. And I think what happens at times, we believe that is how God views us. And in return, we get this idea in our heads that we're unlovable because of all the stuff we have going on inside of us. We're unlovable because of our past. There's this shame that keeps us paralyzed and may convince us that we actually have to go back to that place of captivity. And there's this fear saying that you will always be your circumstance and that no one will love you because of that. And the reality is sometimes we fear freedom. And as I was kind of processing all of this and sitting with Jesus and one of the verses that popped in my mind was Psalm 16, specifically verses 1 through 14, which I'm going to read that to you guys. So it says, I love the Eternal, for not only does he hear my voice, my pleas for mercy, but he leaned down when I was in trouble and brought his ear close to me. I love that. So as long as I have breath, I will call on him. Once I was wounded in the wrapping of death, the terror of dying, and the grave had a grip on me. I could not get away, for I was entombed in distress and sorrow. Then I called on the name of the Eternal. O Eternal One, I am begging you, save me. The Eternal is full of grace and naturally just. Our God is compassionate and merciful. And the Eternal watches over the naive. Whenever I was knocked down, he reached down and saved me. O my soul, return and relax. Come to your true rest, for the Eternal has showered you with his favor. God, you alone rescued my soul from the grips of death, and my eyes from weeping, and my feet from slipping. I will come before the Eternal as long as I journey the land of the living. I believed your promise, therefore I spoke. I am in deep trouble. In my confusion, I blurted out, all people are liars. How will I pay back the Eternal for his graciousness towards me? I will raise the cup of deliverance and call out the name of the Eternal. I will fulfill the promise I made him here as a witness to all his people. And after reading that passage multiple times, I love reading in different translations. The Voice is what I read it from, and I think that was my favorite version. And I feel like the word that came to my mind was rescue, and how God ultimately is our great rescuer, one who is fiercely pursuing us and fighting for us. He gave up his life so we could have freedom. And he hears us, he sees us, and he loves us, and he invites us in to his embrace where we can seek rest and freedom. A story that came to mind when I was reading that verse and also just processing this was I spent 6 months doing an internship in China. And as I was processing it, there were some very traumatic things that happened in that experience. And it took me probably up to 3 years to get to a place that I felt in a good place emotionally and I wasn't triggered by it. And one of the images that Jason gave me actually was super helpful. Because one of the things I talked about is how abandoned I felt and how frustrated I was with how much stuff I was having to unpack and deal with post my experience. And, when I was kind of processing how I felt isolated, he had me picture myself being in the center of a dance floor, surrounded by all these people, and I just felt like no one could see me. But then God as the great rescuer, as the great pursuer, was fighting through the crowd to pick me out, and he pulls me out so we could dance together one-on-one, and he could pursue intimacy with me. And I think that is something that really stood out to me as I kind of processed through this message and that passage. And I love in Galatians 5:1, it says, "So stand strong for our freedom. The Anointed One freed us so we wouldn't spend one more day under the yoke of slavery, trapped under the law." And then if you hop down in Galatians 5 verse 13, it says, "Brothers and sisters, God has called you to freedom. Hear the call and do not spoil this gift by using liberty to engage in what your flesh desires. Instead, use it to serve each other as Jesus taught through love." And I think I found so much encouragement that God has already fought for my freedom, and we get the opportunity to experience that freedom when we pursue him and press into him daily. And it doesn't just stop with us. The beauty is we are then called to help others experience the same freedom through how we choose to love people around us. And as a movement, we have the opportunity to pursue freedom together.
Before our eyes, God will make his presence known. Before our eyes, God has sent his glory to our side, and he will bring us home. He will call us his own. He will bring us home, and we will be free. Before our eyes, all our fears are washed away, and all will say, mighty is our God who comes to save. And he will bring us home. He will call us his own. He will bring us home, and we will be free. Rejoice, rejoice, our God is with us. He will bring us home. Sing out, oh daughter Zion. He will bring us home. Be glad, cast down your burdens. He will bring us home. Fear not, our God is with us. He will bring us home. He will hold us his own. He will bring us home, and we will be free. Before our eyes, God will make his presence known. Before our God has sent His glory to our side, and He will bring us home. He will call us His own. He will bring us home, and we will be free before our eyes.
Hey, Engaged South KC family, just wanted to let you know that we are still looking for people to join our team to run the World Vision 6K on May 21st. We're running, walking, pushing strollers, doing whatever to raise money for people that don't have access to clean water. $50, every $50 raised gets access to clean water for someone that did not have it before, and that's a pretty cool thing. So if you want to join our team, you can talk to me directly. You can send us an email. Just use the contact link on our website, and that comes directly to Pastor Lexi and myself. Or you can look on our website for more information, and you can find our team page there, and that's where you go to join and start raising money for this very, very great cause, this very cool cause. We have a goal of $1,000. I hope we exceed that, but even if we just hit $1,000, and I say just, but when you think of the lives touched, that's 20 people that will have water, clean water for life, and all the things that happens after someone receives clean water. 20 people's lives will be changed because of what we've done together. So please, if you've been on the fence, it's time to join our team. Again, contact me directly or look on our website for more information. We hope to have you. Thank you very much.